So, you're new to Oldschool RuneScape, you just came off Tutorial Island, and now you're thrown into this massive world full of stuff to do. But where to begin, and what's your best course of action? In this video, I will give you some extremely helpful information that helped me immensely when I started my own OSRS journey just 3 months ago. So from one new player to another, here are 10 tips to get you started on your Oldschool RuneScape journey. Now first, a quick disclaimer. Play the game your way, whether that's as a main, Ironman, or even a hardcore Ironman like popular streamers Guzu, Savix, and Sodapoppin. I personally chose a main account for full access to trading, the Grand Exchange, and banking, and it's also the safest option for PvP, since you're not risking weeks or even months worth of gear progression every time you step into the wilderness. This guide is geared towards mains. If you can afford it, I recommend getting a monthly membership as it unlocks key skills, faster travel, and a much fuller game experience. On the screen I will mention if a part or skill is members only or not, so you can skip ahead if you are a free-to-play account. In this video we will be going over the following topics: skills overview, what is every skill and what does leveling it give you, adventure paths, questing early on to level up, where to find information on quests, mobs, and more, transportation, how to get around the world, banking, trading, and the Grand Exchange, leveling your prayer, passive skill leveling, using the Runelite client to play OSRS plus some helpful plugins, and some final helpful tips and tricks. Now let's get started. Let's start with the skills overview. For any skill, you can click on it in the skills window to see what unlocks at what level. And I've divided skills into 4 different categories, which are combat skills, gathering skills, artisan skills, and utility skills. Let's start with the first one. Combat skills. Attack increases your accuracy with melee weapons and unlocks better ones as you level up. Strength boosts your melee damage, helping you hit harder. Defense reduces the chance to get hit and allows the use of better armor. Hit points is your total health, pretty self-explanatory. Ranged increases accuracy and damage with ranged weapons. Magic lets you cast a wide range of spells for combat, utility, and teleportation. And prayer unlocks powerful temporary buffs by burying or offering bones to an altar. These skills combined are also what level your combat level, which is your visible level to other players in game. Leveling each of these skills is done by choosing the appropriate attack style in your first tab, and all of these will passively level your hit points along with them. Gathering skills. Mining, used to mine ores from rocks to use in smithing or sell for profit. Fishing is used to catch fish for food or leveling your cooking, and also used for combat and training. Woodcutting, you chop trees to gather logs for fire making and also fletching. And farming is used to grow crops and herbs by planting seeds at various patches around the world. Artisan skills. Smithing turns metal bars into weapons, armor, and tools. Cooking allows you to prepare raw food to be eaten or sold with a reduced chance of burning your food at higher levels of cooking. Fire making allows you to light logs on fire, which is often traded with an activity called Wintertot for special loot. This is also used in certain quest requirements. Fletching allows you to craft bows, arrows, crossbow bolts, and other items from logs and other materials. Herblore allows you to mix herbs and ingredients to make potions that boost stats or aid in combat. Crafting allows you to create jewelry, armor, glass, and other useful or profitable items. Construction allows you to build and customize your own player-owned house for utility and convenience. At later levels, this will also allow you a lot of transportation possibilities. Rune crafting allows you to create runes used for casting spells, which is often very slow to level but can be highly profitable at later levels. And lastly, there are utility skills. These skills offer unique benefits that support various aspects of the game, whether through movement, money making, or unlocking new content. First off is Slayer. This assigns specific monsters to kill, often with great drops, good for profit, and combat training. Certain bosses are also locked behind a certain Slayer level. Hunter. You catch animals using traps to earn gold, supplies, or consumable items. Agility. Helps you recover run energy faster and access shortcuts around the world. And lastly, there's Thieving, which allows you to pickpocket NPCs and loot stalls or chests for coins, items, and other useful gear. Next up is adventure paths. When you first enter Gillinor, you will be directed straight to an NPC called Adventurer John. He will tell you to open up a window listing your different adventure paths, and completing these holds very helpful weapon and gear upgrades for all combat styles early game. Getting these upgrades as fast as possible is going to help your damage negation, and therefore help you level quicker. Most of these adventure paths can be completed by just killing goblins or cows on the other side of the river from Adventurer John. Keep in mind there are bonus rewards from members accounts, but these are not groundbreaking, and if you decide to get a membership later down the line, you could go back to John and still pick up the bonus rewards. Next up, we will go over why questing early on is so important. This is because a lot of quests act as an introduction to a certain skill in one way or another, and they also have by far the best XP rewards, especially in early game. One way to go about this is the optimal quest guide. If you like to just explore a quest on your own, you definitely should. If you like a more curated path based on efficiency of account progression, there is an optimal quest guide on the Runescape wiki, which basically tells you the best order in which to complete your quests to progress your account the fastest. It is also just a great place to start if you don't know what to do. I will put a link to it in the description down below. Keep in mind, by no means are you bound to this guide. I myself diverted off to do a quest which I found was more fun or gave me XP in a skill I preferred over another many times. Just do what you find most fun, because that is the real optimal way to quest after all. Where to find information. Introducing the OSRS Wiki. If you ever want to look up information on a monster, an item, or really anything OSRS has to offer, it's gonna be on this wiki. Trust me, there has never been and probably never will be a more up-to-date, filled to the brim with information wiki other than the old school RuneScape one. If you can think of the question, the answer will always be there, so use this to your advantage. Transportation and getting around the world. Transportation is one of the most important things in old school RuneScape to get a grasp on. There are literally hundreds if not thousands of ways to get around the world, and learning them all will take time. However, there are a couple of early game transportation methods that can help you a lot in your player journey, so you're not running everywhere and ending up walking because your run energy is constantly depleted. Your mage book will hold teleports to most major cities, and you can use these by getting the required magic level and runes needed to cast the spell. These spells are instant and will consume the runes you need to cast them. At first you will probably only have access to the early game cities, so leveling your magic skill is always useful to help you get around the map quicker. If you are a member, you get access to 2 different ways of transportation, and one of which is game-breakingly useful early game. In RuneScape there are different worlds, which you can hop into, and think of this as a server hop. You can find these under the logout button, the little brown door. These different servers all have different uses and are used for different game activities, which we won't be going into much detail over now. The most important one for you right now is going to be a so-called house party world. This is a world where other people can open up their player-owned house to other players and let them use the facilities inside. You can enter another player's owned house by going over to Rimington, which is located here on the map. It's also just a 1 or 2 minute run left of Lumbridge. Here you will find a purple portal with a sign next to it that if you right click, a view listed house will give you all the open houses currently available to enter. What you're looking for here is a house that has these 2 options fully unlocked. A Nexus tier level 4 and an ornate jewelry box. If you find a house that has these, click on the arrow on the right to enter, and once inside you can find a teleport to basically every useful location in RuneScape. You have the Nexus portal, which has all major city teleports and a whole bunch of other locations, and a jewelry box which also holds a whole list of teleports to specific locations. Knowing which location belongs to which teleport will take some time, but once you get the hang of this, using another player's own house will massively cut down your travel times for both questing and other activities. The second one is minigames. As a new player, I feel like no one knows about this functionality, but as a member you also get access to minigames, and the awesome thing about this is that you can teleport straight to these minigames, which are sometimes very conveniently located close to where you need to be, or just in some major cities. For example, the Red Pits minigame teleport offers you 4 different locations, being Varrock, Port Sarim, Ardukni, and Kaldegrim. If you don't know these cities yet, that's fine, just try and keep them in mind for later on. The only restriction here is that these have a 20-minute cooldown timer to be used again, so use them sparingly. Banking, trading, and the Grand Exchange. Banking is fairly straightforward and also covered in the tutorial, so I won't be going too much into depth there and only list some helpful buttons you can use for your convenience. These are the Deposit Inventory button and the Deposit Worn Equipment button, which each deposit your entire inventory or currently worn equipment respectively in one click. Another helpful function is the Note function. In short, some items in RuneScape are stackable as one inventory slot, but most are not. However, if you want to withdraw a large amount of items that aren't stackable, which would normally exceed your 28 inventory spaces, you can use the Note function and withdraw as many as you want. Keep in mind that these items can then only be traded, sold, or dropped this way, since most quests will not allow you to take noted items to count towards the quest, since it's more of a receipt of sorts, as opposed to having the actual physical item in your inventory. Trading players' items can be done by right-clicking a player and then choosing trade. The opposing player will then need to accept the trade to open up a window where you can both put up items or money. Keep in mind, RuneScape has a long history of scammers, so watch out for people offering you deals that are too good to be true. Finally, there is the Grand Exchange, which is the marketplace. It is located in the northwest of Varrock here on the map. Here players can put up items for sale and also purchase items themselves. If you're not a main account, you cannot use this feature, and it is helpful for purchasing certain items for quests, which can sometimes be a drag to go and collect yourself. Talk to one of the NPCs here if you want an explanation as to how this function works. Also, if you've already started playing, you've probably seen this text on an item drop. This means that if sold at the Grand Exchange, could be sold for this amount. Keep an eye out for drops that are worth a lot so you can make some nice starter cash. Leveling your prayer. Now of course all skills are worth leveling, but some are more important early on than others. One of these very important skills is prayer, and for a specific reason. Leveling your prayer up to 43 unlocks protection prayers, which are basically immunity buffs against their respective combat styles, which will display their icon above your head when active and are quite literally mandatory for certain quests because you would otherwise die because the damage is just too high to eat through. Now granted, this is more so the case for quests a little later down the line, so don't go burying goblin bones for a week straight, but don't neglect the skill either. You can use the wiki to check which quest gives prayer XP if you want to make your route to 43 more efficient. Passive skill leveling. This part is for skills locked behind an OSRS membership, so skip ahead if you do not have this. Runescape has several skills that are time gated, meaning you have to set up certain activities that will take a certain amount of time to progress before completing naturally. One of these skills is farming, and is going to be important to your questing progression later on. You can find some farming quests in the optimal quest guide link below, which will act as an intro to this skill and set you up with the basic levels to get started. After this, you will be able to set up several farming patches that when harvested will give experience. Because these are time gated, getting this set up early will save you a lot of time down the line because you're naturally progressing the skill as you go about doing other business in Runescape, provided you have these farming patches active and running while doing so. If you like a more in-depth explanation on farming, you can look up Farming Guide OSRS on YouTube and find several guides to help you get started. Hunter is another one of these skills, and the passive part to this are setting up birdhouses. For this I also suggest looking up a guide, but this won't be available to you yet until further down the line. Just make sure you don't neglect it after it becomes available. Next up, we will be covering a very important one, using the Runelite client to play Runescape plus some helpful plugins. Over the course of Oldschool Runescape's lifespan, there have been several different clients that you could use to launch and play the game with, but none so game-breakingly good as Runelite. Playing the game with this client is a completely different experience on its own, because not only can it upscale the graphics of Oldschool Runescape to a point where it feels like you're playing a completely different game, it can also provide you with several different plugins that greatly improve quality of life, something that the official client just cannot do. It has become so widely used and supported that even the Jagex official launcher offers it as an option for a usable client, meaning it is supported by the developer of the game. This does not go over the plugins you can download within the client, so use these at your own discretion, but the ones I will go over are widely considered safe to use. After downloading and installing the Runelite client via the official Jagex launcher on your desktop, you can then boot up the Runelite client and log in as you normally would. Now here's where most of the magic happens, the sidebar on the right. On this sidebar you will find several different options with everything from XP trackers to skill calculators, telling you exactly how much of X actually you need to do to get Y results, plus a lot more. I implore you to take a look through this on your own, but for now we will be going over the most important one, the plugin hub. The most important one for me personally is 117HD. Some like it, some don't, but for me it greatly improved the overall looks of the game. Click on the external plugin hub button at the top of the sidebar on the right and search for 117. Install it and you should instantly see a great visual improvement on your game. To support this even further, I would advise installing animation smoothing and camera smoothing as well, because these make the game look more fluent and less stuttery. Now the next one is a quality of life gameplay plugin called Shortest Path. After you install this plugin, you can open up the world map and right-click any spot on the map and click Set Target. The plugin will then show you a red line detailing exactly what the shortest path to get there is. This plugin has made traveling for me so much quicker and efficient. It will also sometimes show you if a minigame teleport is the quickest way to get there. However, I have found that this is not always correct. A built-in plugin on the Runelite client itself is Entity Hider. Once you turn this on, it will basically only show you or people you have on your friends list. So if you're ever on a busy world and get tired of all the people surrounding you or obstructing your field of view for things, this is a very handy one to have. Don't forget to turn this back off if you want to see other people again. The final one is controversial for some. It's the Quest Helper plugin. The name says it all. It helps you to complete quests by giving you information on what to do. The manner in which you use this plugin is up to you. Whether you want to use it at all is also up to you. You can set it up to provide information in the form of anything from vague clues to downright literally telling you what to click and what to bring. You can set this up by going into the little cogwheel at the top of the plugin and unchecking any of the boxes of information you wish it didn't provide. Keep in mind the baseline setup starts at full throttle max assistance. There are tons more helpful plugins, but you will find a use for others once you play the game some more. You'll eventually end up wanting a function which you can probably find in there. Now you know where to find it. Now for the last part of the video, I want to give you all some final tips and tricks, so here they are. Your spellbook will always have a home teleport which you can set to different zones. You can use this once every 30 minutes and it's always completely free. Use this as a last resort. Menu entry swapper. This is a built-in plugin into Runelite and allows you to change the standard action of either your left or right mouse click in a menu. This can be helpful for certain places where you would prefer if your left click was always a specific action other than the action that is listed. For example, on the house party world, I want my left click to always be visit last house advertisement. I can then shift right click the sign, swap either left or right click in this case, and to be visit last house advertisement. Now whenever I left click the sign, that will be the action. And you can always reset this by shift right clicking an NPC or item again and clicking reset. If you want an easy way to get into someone's house, you can buy a teleport tablet from the Grand Exchange, which you can break to teleport back to your house instantly. You can then leave your house portal to be outside and go into someone else's house. You can also shift right click the item in your inventory to change the left click to instantly teleport you outside instead of inside. In the settings, there is an option called Hide Roofs, which allows you to see inside every structure so it's easier to click on an NPC or item of interest. You can turn this on in the settings window and it's off by default. Do not get lured into the wilderness with stuff on. Too many times have I seen this happen. Usually near the Grand Exchange, players will often give you a deal too good to be true, like following them somewhere for some great gear. This is usually a trick to get you into the wilderness where if they kill you, they can take most if not all of your stuff. Random events. Sometimes near your character an event will pop up or some sort of NPC will start talking to you. These events can often hold special items that count towards your item collection log or simply hold XP lamps that will give you a little bit of XP in a skill of your choice. You don't have to do these events, but they can be fun and will always teleport you right back where you left off once finished. Finally, do not burn yourself out leveling just one skill. RuneScape is meant to be enjoyed in all its forms and joys, and every single skill will eventually become a grind to 99. So try them all out and you'll start hitting those 99s eventually on multiple skills. Don't be like certain streamers and start grinding agility and mining for an entire day at the start of your journey.
And I love agility farming. I'm so lucky to have these wonderful people tell me to farm this to 10. Saves so much time.
I want to thank everybody for watching the video. If you found these tips helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to help the algorithm. And if you want a part 2 to this video with more tips, let me know in the comments. I also stream on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube, so come and say hi there if you feel like it. See you next time.